Guys, welcome back. Today I'm inside for just a little bit in order to get a tour at Metalwood Studios here in Barrie, Ontario by the man on my right named Paul. Now Paul is going to tell us all about this beautiful stuff you guys see behind you, because to be quite frank, some of these pieces you're going to see are probably the biggest slab wood you've ever seen. Now some of this, as you can see, it looks quite wide, but wait until we go outside and see some of the doozies that are waiting to be turned into other furniture just like this. So without further ado, here's Paul on my right. Paul runs the operation here. He is the expert, so I'm going to turn it over to him. Paul, thanks for having me here today. Could you take a minute and just run us through sort of how things operate here at Metalwood Studio?
Absolutely. Hi guys, pleasure. I'm Paul Rosé. I'm founder of Metalwood Studio. And here at Metalwood, one thing that is really important to us obviously is quality of our finished pieces. And this has kind of led us into producing all of our wood products. And recently, about a year ago, we acquired the widest cut sawmill in Canada. We can do 8-foot diameter trees, and that gives us the edge to do some of the pieces as you see in a single slab that before that was kind of impossible to do. So we basically cut all of our logs in-house, we dry everything in-house. We fabricate it in-house. We do have a supply store that you can buy all your supplies for your own projects, and we have our own studio which we do all of our finished pieces. So basically a one-stop shop for everything you need from milling to the finished products, and can't wait to show you guys around.
Guys, let's head on inside. Paul has some secrets behind these doors. Now, some of you who are in this industry, you might know a little bit about this. But for most of us, this is brand new, and this stuff is pretty unique and pretty spectacular to see. And I, once again, feel pretty happy to be here. So let's go on inside, and hopefully we get to experience what goes on here, because it's something.
All right, so it's usually not as quiet. It's lunchtime, so we get to kind of show you guys around. So this is the main warehouse where we house all of our dry products. A little bit more stock than usual. We just opened the kiln, and there is a lot of processing to do every time we open our kiln. We do have two DHD kilns, one 25,000 board feet over there, and 4,000 board feet right behind us here, which for the small one is mainly used for the thinner material, the 4/4, 5/4. And then the bigger kiln is to dry everything else, all of our slabs. All right, so after the wood comes out of our kiln, it goes through Toothless over there, which is our 53-inch planer sander combo. This machine pretty much processes all of our products. Well, most of our products. Anything that is up to 53 goes through here. Now that we do much larger slabs, we do have a little surprise that Sandy's going to show you guys in a bit. But after the wood goes through here, it finds its way out to our production area, which right now we got a few projects on the go. Yeah, so when we get to this point, everything from the pouring to joining to whatnot happens here. Right now, as you see, there's a 15-foot table being done, a few other projects, and this is where the magic happens. All right, so after the production, I'm gonna show you guys what the inside of the kiln looks like right now with a load of wood being dried. So as you see, we got a lot of stock for all kinds of projects. We do cater to bulk clients, so right now we're processing a few bulk projects that has to go out. So that's why it's a lot of stuff all over the place. Doesn't matter how big your shop is, you're always gonna have space issues. All right, so let's go and check out the kiln over here. So right now we got a load of actually thinner material for our big order that has to go out. So we typically don't use this kiln for the bigger products. However, what we do is there's different cycles you can use. So since this is a thinner material, we have to use a different cycle. Right now the temperature is 150 degrees. So do you want to feel what it feels like for a second?
Wow, I can't really explain to you guys what it feels like, but imagine being in Florida, crank it up to 10, and then blow that heat and humidity onto you. This is incredible in here. So, how long will this stay in here, Paul?
Typically for this thickness, about 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
When you do anything that is 10 quarter, 8 quarter plus, it's usually minimum 6 weeks.
This is wild. I'm sure we're not staying in here long. There's no possible way.
Time to get out.
I think so. That was incredible in there. I thought my understanding of a kiln and how hot it should be is based on a solar kiln. Go in there, it's not even the same realm. That's something. And that, Paul, how big was that again, that kiln there?
So this capacity for this kiln is about 25,000 board feet. So we can fill it pretty good. And it really depends on, kiln drying on itself is a science. And it really depends on the material, the density of the material, the thickness of the material, how wet it is. There's many parameters about drying. So in order to dry things properly, if you don't follow these steps, you're not going to get the same material. That's why, you know, in not just in our field, in many different fields, you get so much material that it looks good, but when you want to work with it, it's too wet. And this is the biggest problem with any kind of live edge furniture, is that you're not dealing with a dimensional wood. With dimensional wood, you have multiple pieces. You can always alternate the grains, try to keep it straight, even if it's a little wet. But when it comes to slabs, if your slabs are not properly dried, then you're gonna have issues of cupping and warping and whatnot. If you do epoxy work, you're gonna have a problem of delamination. So there's quite a few things involved rather than just grabbing a slab and making a table. That's why we try to do it to the best quality as we can, and this way we can control everything from the raw logs to the finished tables that you guys saw a little earlier.
And Paul, you load this kiln here. You you load it from the back then, do you?
Yeah, so the whole side on the back opens up, and then we basically, as you see, we have a bit of a space issue, but yeah, everything comes out. We do a quick, usually swap, and within a day. So within a day, in the morning, we open it up, we take all the dry stuff out, we have the stuff already ready to go in, already organized. So all of our next load, we know what's going in. So as soon as that's ready, we just do a complete swap, and away you go.
And this is pretty incredible. Now, the wood that's sitting here, is this done in the kiln, or is this waiting to go in?
No, so everything that we keep in our warehouse has already been kiln
So
dried.
this is all ready to go.
Everything you see is ready to go.
So your inventory is, you've got material if people need it.
Material if people need it, regardless of the size of the job. And one thing with us is we do a lot of custom milling for people. So sometimes you know, we have clients that are looking for a piece that nobody has the wood. So therefore we have to source the log, cut it, dry it, and that takes at least 6 months. We like to take it about 8 months to a year with our method of drying, because we don't like to force it to dry. So yeah, anything can be done.
I think that's an understatement. As you guys are going to see very shortly, this is just a small fraction of what they've got sort of waiting in the wings. Just outside the door here, aside from having one of the biggest pile of logs, of high-end logs I've ever seen, they also have a number of stacks of wood that's fresh off the sawmill, essentially, or at least has been cut not too long ago. All that's coming in here, and that's going to continue to add to this inventory. So pretty impressive, Paul.
All right, so we're in the log yard right now. What you see on this side is our log pile. We have it sorted in different species and different sizes. Smaller logs on this side. On the opposite side, which you will see shortly, will be all of our what we call super slabs, super logs, because they're all over 60 inches wide. So we'll go through that. And what you see on our left here is our wet inventory, more or less. So everything here is green wood. We have our thinner 4/4, 5/4 material in front of you, and then we have the thicker 8/4 plus. We usually mill everything minimum 10/4. So by the time it goes through the drying process and everything, you'll end up with a true 2-inch, true 8/4 after it's done. So the bigger slabs are milled from 10/4 all the way to 16/4. And then right over there in the back, that's where all the magic happens. That's where our sawmills are. We have 3 sawmills. We have our super massive sawmill that does 8-foot capacity, and then we have our 2 other wood misers that we do all of our milling. All right, so that's Bumblebee, our 16,800 pound capacity telehandler that does all the heavy lifting. And we have a grappler attachment and a bucket attachment for it, and this can help us not only grab the logs, but have our log yard as clean as possible. Now I'd like to introduce you guys to CK. And CK is our lead sawyer and our log yard supervisor, and he does everything for us in terms of all the milling. So everything starts under his hands. He gets to see what's going on inside the wood firsthand. So he's the first person that can see the beauty of these logs. And so this is our true cut sawmill. It's a 96-inch sawmill. And on the opposite side that Sandy's showing right now, it's our 96-inch surfacer. So we can also surface all of our slabs on the same machine. Alright, so we're walking to our monster log selection over here. So we have some really big pieces, and some of them you got to kind of stand beside them to get a perspective. It's a hard maple log, another hard maple log. So I'm 5'9", and this is the narrow end of the tree, and the other end is about 8 feet.
I don't know about you guys out there, but these are some of the biggest trees I've ever seen. Up where I am, mostly white pines. We don't get huge hardwoods like this. But just looking at the end of this, I think the biggest tree on my property might span this, the biggest white pine. And you guys, this is just one section.
Three pieces you see, the 3 pits, they're all one tree.
So what type of cutting will you do with this? Will you try to you'll cut it to a customer's spec, or will you guys?
On things like this, it becomes a little challenging because we have to kind of examine the log to see what's the best way to cut it because we're artisans. We started as artisans, so the wood side of things is not just for us to produce wood. So we usually examine any piece like this to get the best cut. That way, then what we look for is where the branches are going, where are the humps, where are the bumps, and how. And this thing is a highly figured, curly, hard maple. But one thing, like this thing was taken down in the last tornado, so it was another big chunk here that is missing. So we have to take that in consideration when we cut it to make sure that we cut it the best way to get the best looking pieces out of it. So one cool thing I want to show you guys, this doesn't really happen that often, so you don't see how the fibers of the wood work. So this hard maple log, you can see the curls on the surface. However, now this chunk that is broken is a perfect example of how that curl is. As you see, it's a wonderful curl that goes throughout the whole wood all the way inside. So when this is finished, the figures you're gonna get are absolutely breathtaking, because in my opinion, as much as I love maple, hard maple is a little bit boring unless you have curly hard maple. Then it's just every time you look at it, you're gonna see something new.
Just as we're walking by here, guys, don't think that that was the only massive log in this pile. Like, have a look at this guy, right? And this is like, in terms of the, you know, the scale here, this is just one log. Look at that log up there, and that log, and the one under it. Like, there's tons and tons of inventory of massive logs here. So I can just about imagine what type of slabs these are gonna make and what types of furniture down the road. Okay guys, just before on my left we get the big sawmill going, I want you guys to take part in a little sort of wager that the crew has going in terms of the board feet in this pile of logs. Now they're using the Doyle scale here. Take your best guess, put it down below in the comments. Look at this log pile here. You guys saw both sides of it, and now you see the end of it. It's absolutely massive. Using the Doyle scale, how many board feet are there? Guess down below. I'll follow up with the guys here and we'll see who's you know, in the ballpark. I've heard anywhere from 500,000 up to 1.4 or 1.5 million board feet for guesses. You guys throw yours out there. Here we go. All right, guys, well, we can say one thing for certain. This is about 10 times bigger than my sawmill. The expert is on my right, CK. He's going to take us through this. This is the True Cut 96-inch wide sawmill. So here we go.
Yeah, well, before we get to the sawmill heads, we'll start with the finishing head. So it's all hydraulically powered. It's basically a really large CNC. So the main part is a 16-inch wide spinning head, and I think it's got 12 carbide teeth on it. Now we run that around 3,400 RPM, something like that. And both of the heads are powered by 35 horsepower Vanguard engines, which basically just power the hydraulics for each of them. All the spinning and moving parts, like I said, are hydraulically powered.
So no belts here at all. It's simply your hydraulic pump here, right off the engine, and that's the works, eh?
Yeah. So it's all. Let's try and find a good example. Yeah. So hydraulic for that, and for the up and down, you got your hydraulic there, and for your back and forth, hydraulic there. And it's an extra large hydraulic tank, which, given the speeds that we're going at, that helps to keep it cool. And it does tend to heat up pretty quick if you're cutting through dried hardwood.
I like the seat on it. You guys actually ride right along as it's in operation.
Yeah, I'm trying to convince Paul to get seats for the wood misers, but I think that's more of a luxury than a necessity.
And a nice structure you guys have here, protects you from the elements, keeps
Yes.
everything nice and clean, and you're out here milling year round.
Year round.
Yeah.
Yes. The arch was a fairly recent thing. My first winter here, we were completely out in the open, and it wasn't the most fun I've ever had.
And if you guys don't understand the geography of where this place is located, Barrie, Ontario and Central Ontario, it's right close to a number of water bodies, one in particular, Georgian Bay. If you want to see a place get walloped with snow, this is it. So for these guys to be out here sawing and keeping this operation running round the clock, or round the calendar year, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So what I love about this is that even given its size, it's somewhat bare bones. There's nothing on this that I don't think I'd be able to fix or repair myself. So the backstops here. Oh, it's clamped in, so I can't move it. But yeah, manual, 3 of them. Just knock them up here. You may notice one of them's cut, but when we went to Kentucky to have a demo of how it gets assembled and disassembled, there was another company there as well, and when the other company was doing their test cuts, it was them that put that cut in the backstop there. Moving over to mill heads.
Wow, look at those band wheels.
340 inches.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And so in terms of how it's powered, I see the engine up there, and then I see a series of belts here.
Yep.
So the belts are powered off the engine.
Yes.
And then that obviously turns the band wheels here.
Yep.
Those are some massive band wheels. My band wheels, I think they're, what are they, 18 or 19 inches? So 28 inches. And if we look at the width of this blade here, that is substantial compared to what I'm used to. You guys can see the guide wheels here. That's something.
Yeah, these are trailer axle hubs.
Is that right?
The blades, we're using the Ripper 37s, 7/8 tooth spacing, 10 degree tooth angle. It's 2 inches thick.
I also noticed, CK, you've got That's to clean any debris off your band wheels there.
Yep.
And what about for lubrication here? Do you guys use much lubrication when you're cutting?
Yes. Yeah. We've got a wiper here. It's a felt pad.
Okay.
And the tank for the liquid is over on the other side, but it gets fed all the way over. And just by the controls here, you've got the on-off, and then there's a little valve in the back down there to control the speed. So I've got it set up in a way that whenever I switch the lubrication on, it just keeps the pad moist. So
okay.
It's just a constant moisture that helps to stop things from sticking to it.
Now, do you have any preference for lubrication for big logs like this? Or does that vary depending on the...
I've had good luck with a 50-50 pine salt water mix.
Okay, good.
Although I've yet to try that in the winter, so that might change.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we're running now.
And this is the feed speed, so this is how fast the whole system moves here, is that right?
Yep, it's pretty straightforward. You get up and down, forward and back, and how fast you go forward and back.
I like this setup, the hydraulics. It's very simple. Like, I'm looking at this, and as they're explaining it, I fully understand how the blade's turning, how the mill head is moving, where the lubrication's coming from. It's pretty straightforward, which is nice.
And it's just a pump crank for the blade tension from this cylinder. It just pushes this wheel out, and that's how you get your tension.
You know, you got a big sawmill when you have a hydraulic cylinder that's applying the tension as opposed to these ones.
Like the other side, it's a lot of hydraulics, but a lot less. Like you said, the band for the drive wheel is powered directly from the engine, and then it's just the up, down, forward, back that are hydraulically powered.
What's interesting here, CK, I know I talked to you and I talked to many of you at home. We always go back and forth about engine size on sawmills. My sawmill, what does it cut? Give or take about 30 inches. It's got a 14 horsepower engine, my sawmill. This cuts 96 inches and it's got a 35 horsepower engine. That's perfectly fine though, isn't it? It cuts fine as long as the blade's sharp?
Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I think there's a notion out there that you end up needing like 150 horsepower as you get into big sizes like this, and I guess you're proving that that's not necessarily the case.
I think maybe the biggest thing with that is how deep your set is.
Oh, okay.
Because your set can make or break an engine. If they just put an engine on that's just enough power for the size, you gotta look out for the set on your blades. But you've got that set up at home, right? You got your own set? Yep.
impressive. I didn't know what to expect there, but a 96-inch cut is exactly as it sounds. It's a big, massive, scary monster. That thing, when it's cutting, it's certainly cutting, and I didn't want to get too close to it. It's making pretty easy work of this massive log here. Do you know the size of this, CK? And probably like, what's that? I don't know, 30 inches, maybe wider.
40.
40. Wow. Yeah, that's a monster. And if we have a look at the lumber it's made, check that out. Yeah, I think that's one of the real benefits here. You guys get to mill essentially anything you want with any type of design you want, just based on the log you got. Yeah. And you certainly aren't short on them.
Like occasionally I come across one that I get so excited about that I have to call upstairs and like, guys, you gotta come see this.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And the operation on that, I was just watching you use it, and it was pretty straightforward. You engage the clutch, or you engage the belts, I guess.
Yep.
And then you also you tensioned it, I noticed.
Yep.
And then just turned on the lubrication, and that was basically it.
Exactly.
I was thinking, you know, even though we talked a little bit about the 35 horsepower engine, I was thinking that, oh, maybe it would struggle in the least. It didn't even struggle. It stayed at whatever RPMs it's set to, and it cut just like butter. So that's impressive.
Yeah.
And you weren't kidding about this being solid. Everything down here on this mill is solid steel. I guess it has to be. If you tried to set this on here gracefully and it wasn't solid steel, you'd just bend the log stops right off it.
Exactly. I think they already have been bent back slightly.
Look at that one. Guys, check that out down here. Nope, down there. Look at that bend. And we're not talking light gauge steel here. I don't know what that is. 3/4 of an inch. That was probably a doozy.
Some of the logs on here are fairly heavy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The colors. I need one of those.
Yeah. And the good side effect about having overstock of logs is that they sit for a long time. Because if you cut this as soon as it was chopped down, you wouldn't get this spalting.
I gotcha.
You wouldn't get as deep a color either.
Yeah, it's funny, I take it for granted. The only time I see spalting is when it's fresh off the chainsaw and it's going through the wood splitter. And then I start thinking, oh, this is not ideal for the wood stove. It would be more ideal for this.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
There you got the crotch figure coming all the way down.
You can just about imagine what this log still weighs. Your telehandler back there, what does that lift? Does that lift most of the logs around here?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
most of the logs. We do have a grapple attachment too, which we use in special circumstance. There's only one log that it can't lift, and you've already seen.
Yeah. CK and Paul, they were telling me they that one log, it weighs so much it needs special equipment just to lift it. Can imagine what that would look like and getting that up and onto a mill like this one. All right, guys, as you can hear, the sawmill on my left is a wood miser. That's still going, but I just finished up on this one. That's that 96-inch cut sawmill. Everything's fully hydraulic there. CK was giving me instruction just to make sure I got everything cut correctly and safely. I wouldn't want to mess up a nice log like that. I can tell you that was a lot of fun. I'm used to walking beside a sawmill. I was sort of riding in style on the seat there, nice shade. Could probably put a nice sludge holder on the side, and well, I might never get up unless I had to load another log, of course. I am probably more able to operate this thing. This is one of their other original wood misers. This right here, I just found out, has 3,692 hours on it. This thing is from 1998. It still operates to this day. It's had some parts replaced on it, but it's pretty impressive. One of the most impressive things you may notice here, see that weld and that one? That's not a factory job. This was extended to get a wider cut. Pretty impressive ingenuity here. I'm, as you guys know, if you watch the channel, I'm kind of tinkering with things from time to time. So when I see that and I know that it works for that many hours, I'm pretty impressed. Anyways, let's just head over here. I know there's something special that I saw as we were touring around here. And what that was these guys. I have never seen a sticker like this before. And CK, you were saying this is all you guys use for the most part.
Yep, the breezeways, yeah.
And this keeps your wood from getting any type of molding or anything like that?
Molding, staining, uneven drying.
And you also use this as well, you were saying, eh? The H channel?
Yeah.
I originally was thinking that I was using the best possible system, like a 3/4 inch wide strip for my sticker, and then I came here. Now I kind of want to find out where these come from, or maybe, as CK said, I could make some of these on the router. Probably wouldn't be too hard. Anyways, just one other thing CK was going to show me over here was the actual, this is an HD40,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So the Wood Miser HD40, it's in operation here. You guys use this for basically everything that'll fit on there?
Yeah, because as the size of mill goes up, so does the price of the blades. So whatever we can fit on the smallest one, it makes the most sense.
Makes sense to me. Let's we'll just stand back here, but let's just have a quick look at it. All right, I'm not gonna lie, I want one of those too. That's probably more realistic than 96-inch wide one. That thing looks pretty slick. All the hydraulic controls and the obviously the high productivity on those makes it appealing.
The way you cut that slab, do you want a job?
Do I want a job? You know what? I think they have enough logs around here to keep me busy for the rest of my life, but I'm certainly not the expert. These guys know what they're doing. I certainly don't. Well, guys, that's going to do it for my tour here at Metalwood Studio in Barrie, Ontario. Paul and CK, special thanks to those two. They gave me a great overview of the entire process from beginning right to end. If you guys are interested in finding out a little bit more about Metalwood Studio, I'll put all their contact information down in the description. In the meantime, guys, I appreciate you watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this channel, and I'll see all you guys next time.